Plesiosaurus. This is the creature that has most shaped how people picture a prehistoric sea monster, and for good reason. It had a very long neck, a round, barrel-like body, 4 large, paddle-shaped limbs, and a relatively short tail. It lived during the Jurassic period, beginning around 200 million years ago, and it was a successful design that persisted for over 100 million years. It used its long neck to ambush fish, likely bending it sideways through schools of prey, rather than rearing it high out of the water like a swan. When people describe the Loch Ness Monster, they are almost always describing a plesiosaur, Elasmosaurus. It was a plesiosaur, but the neck on this animal was taken to a different extreme altogether. Out of its total body length of around 46 feet, roughly half of that was neck. It had 72 neck vertebrae, more than almost any animal in history. When it was first discovered in the 19th century, the paleontologist who reconstructed it famously placed the head on the wrong end, attaching it to the tail, a mistake that was only corrected after a very public and bitter scientific argument. It lived during the Cretaceous period and hunted fish in open water by sweeping its neck in broad arcs. Liopleurodon. Where the plesiosaurs had long necks and small heads, this animal had almost none of that. It was a pliosaur, a relative of plesiosaurs built around a massive skull, a short neck, and a powerful, compact body. Its skull alone could reach 10 feet in length, lined with teeth designed to grip large prey and not let go. It lived during the Jurassic period in the shallow seas that covered what is now Europe. Size estimates have varied wildly over the years, and popular media sometimes exaggerated them to extreme lengths. But even a conservative estimate places it among the most formidable ocean predators of all time, Mosasaurus. By the time this animal appeared in the late Cretaceous around 80 million years ago, it had become the dominant predator of the world's oceans. It was a massive lizard closely related to modern monitor lizards, with 4 paddle-like limbs, a long tail flattened vertically to push it through the water, and a double-hinged jaw that let it swallow large prey whole. Some individuals reached 50 feet in length. When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, mosasaurs vanished, along with nearly every other large marine reptile. Fossils of mosasaurs have been found on every continent, including Antarctica, which tells you something about how thoroughly they had colonized every ocean on Earth. Archelon. It was the largest turtle to have ever lived, reaching about 15 feet from head to tail, and it swam through the same late Cretaceous seas as mosasaurs. Unlike modern turtles, its shell was not a solid dome, but a leathery, flexible framework of bones and skin, somewhat like a giant sea turtle today, but even less rigid. It had a hooked beak, weak jaw muscles, and likely fed on soft prey like jellyfish and squid, rather than hard-shelled animals. Fossils of Archelon have been found mainly in what is now South Dakota and Wyoming, places that were once covered by a shallow inland sea called the Western Interior Seaway. Basilosaurus. The name means king lizard, which is a misnomer. It was not a reptile at all, but an early whale. It lived around 40 million years ago and represented one of the earliest fully aquatic members of the whale lineage. Its body was long and serpentine, reaching up to 60 feet, which is why its discoverers thought it was a sea serpent and gave it that misleading name. Unlike modern whales, it still had small vestigial rear limbs, tiny remnants of the land-dwelling ancestors it descended from. Its teeth were different in the front and back of its jaw, a feature shared with land mammals but lost in all modern whales. It was, in every sense, a creature caught between two worlds. Megalodon. It is the most famous prehistoric sea creature in popular culture, and most of what people believe about it requires some correction. It was a shark, related to, but not a direct ancestor of, the modern great white, and it lived from roughly 23 million years ago until about 3.6 million. Size estimates based on tooth and vertebrae fossils suggest it reached between 50 and 60 feet in length, making it the largest shark known to science. It likely fed on large whales, using enormous teeth, some over 7 inches long, to deliver devastating bite wounds. It did not survive into modern times. The ocean it lived in was warmer, with different whale populations and different prey distributions. And when those conditions changed,
it did not adapt. Leedsichthys. It holds a special place in the record books, as almost certainly the largest fish to have ever lived, though estimating its exact size has been difficult because its skeleton was made largely of cartilage and rarely preserved well. Conservative estimates place it at around 50 feet, while some researchers have suggested it may have reached considerably longer. It lived during the Jurassic period, around 165 million years ago, and despite its size, it was a filter feeder, swimming slowly with its mouth open, straining enormous quantities of tiny plankton and small fish from the water, much like a modern whale shark. Enormous size and gentle feeding habits have, it seems, always gone well together in the ocean. Tullimonstrum. This creature has confused scientists since the day it was discovered. It lived around 300 million years ago in the shallow seas of what is now Illinois, and its fossils were found in such numbers in the Francis Creek Shale that it became the official state fossil of Illinois. It had a long, soft body, a rigid horizontal tail fin, and its eyes were mounted on rigid stalks protruding from the sides of its body. At the very front, a long, flexible proboscis ended in a small, claw-like mouth. For decades, no one could agree on what kind of animal it was. Invertebrate, vertebrate, something else entirely. Even today, researchers debate its classification. It is a reminder that evolution sometimes produces designs that simply do not fit neatly into any category we recognize.